Join us as we celebrate this beautiful season of renewal and all things magic it brings. Today we're going to make whole wheat sourdough French toast as well as some tea. And we're also going to be doing some garden prep as well, so you'll get to see our cottage garden. We hope you enjoy this video and thank you for watching with us today here at the Modern Day Cottage. We're going to start off by milling our whole wheat berries. These are hard white wheat berries. We buy our wheat berries from bread bakers. We find that they are absolutely the best quality and the cleanest wheat berries. Oh, as well as Jovial. I do buy the acorn wheat berries from Jovial because they are grown in Italy. And I find that they don't get the sprays that are banned here in the US. And the acorn berries are actually phenomenal from jovialfoods.com. We're not affiliates of Jovial or bread bakers at this time, but we will put the links below, because sharing is caring. Ruby Ann is making our sourdough whole wheat French toast bread. This bread is absolutely perfect for French toast because it doesn't fall apart. It's not light and airy like a sandwich bread is. So it really holds together when you coat it with the milk egg mixture. And we find that it does really good for French toast. You can find that on the blog under sourdough pumpkin pie spice French toast at themoderndaycottage.com. We will put the link below. You're going to let this set and rest. Whole wheat, when you mill it up, it has a lot of wheat germ and bran and fiber, so it's going to be really thirsty. So we're using a high hydration for this recipe. So you're going to use milk or water, and you're going to use coconut oil, honey, salt, egg, and sunflower lecithin, optional vital wheat gluten, and you're going to use about 4.5 cups of freshly milled flour, as well as some flaxseed if you want to add that in. Today we didn't add that in, but it's the same recipe, just you can omit the flaxseed if you want to. So you're going to let it rise to at least 30%. We used discard, so it took a little bit longer than 4 hours to rise, but that's okay. You can use discard if you don't want to immediately make this recipe because it takes longer for it to rise. I find that using the discard works better for me and my routine because sourdough starter really activates it, and you have got to really be on it or it's going to overproof. And I forget about, I forget about the bread sometimes because I'm so busy doing other things. Ruby and I are writing on the blog. She's editing every one of our videos, and I'm coming up with new content, developing new recipes, adjusting our recipes we have already developed for the blog to make sure we have weight measurements going forward. You end up with a better result if you use weighted measurements than just standard cup measurements that we use here in the US. So metric system seems to work more effective than our standard imperial measurements. Ruby Ann's going to cover them and let them rise. You can put them in the oven with an oven light on to speed up the process, especially if you've used a discard for your recipe. Just keep an eye on it because you don't want it to overproof and then collapse as you bake it. This bread will be more dense, lower profile than a bread that's mixed with either a yeast or a sourdough starter or half and half with all-purpose and whole wheat flour. You're going to bake these at 350 for 30 to 35 minutes until internal temperatures reach 190 degrees. And once they bake, you're going to put them on a cooling rack and place them on their sides so they don't compress in on the top or the bottom. That's another tip when you're baking fresh breads, especially sandwich breads. They're really tall and fluffy. Lay them on their sides while they're cooling. The smell is amazing in your home when you make fresh bread. There is nothing like coming home to a house with freshly made bread. My husband loves when we make bread. You just see his little grin on his face when he comes in that door after working hard for the day and knowing that he's got some fresh bread to go with supper and with breakfast the next day. So we're making the French toast egg mixture, and you're going to use 1 egg, 1 cup of milk, a teaspoon of maple syrup, a teaspoon of vanilla extract. We're using our homemade extract. We have a video how to do that as well. We'll put that link below. A pinch of salt, and in the recipe at the Modern Day Cottage, you add in 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. You can omit that and just add in cinnamon or omit that too. But we're using Ceylon cinnamon today because I love cinnamon French toast. It just reminds me of my childhood when times were simpler and slower, and there was actually Tupperware parties and Mary Kay parties. But French toast was a staple in our home on Sunday and Saturday mornings. So it just brings me back to my childhood. We are using our pasture-raised eggs. If you have chickens, I highly suggest fermented feed. Since going to fermented feed, we have a huger egg production, and the egg quality is better, and the eggs weigh more, and the yolks are brighter in color. We're using wild strawberry tea this morning. We are so giddy for spring. We love all the seasons, but springtime is it's a magical, romantic time. All the bees are buzzing outside, and we actually saw a black swallowtail yesterday. That was amazing to see the butterflies coming back. So we cannot wait to get into our cottage garden and get all of our seeds planted that I have overbought at Botanical Interest and Baker Creek Rare Seeds. Those are the 2 places I love to buy seeds from, as well as Hoss. They have a silver slicer seed that I highly recommend for cucumbers. They are absolutely delicious. This sourdough bread is so good. We use butter in the pan, salted butter. We use salted butter pretty much for our cooking and our baking. Now I'm using rendered fat that I keep from bacon grease to make our fried eggs. They are so good. Yard eggs are just unbeatable when it comes to eating fresh eggs. And ours are pasture raised. They are kept outside until dark, and then they go into their coop, and I go out there and I close them up. This dark chocolate egg is from a chicken called a Copper Moran's with an S, and that is how you say it even with a singular. They make the darkest eggs I think I've ever seen, and I think there is a darker Copper Moran's called a French black or black French Copper Moran's. We're using Redmond sea salt. I like the coarse Redmond sea salt when I do our eggs, as well as fresh peppercorn. We love having our eggs, bacon, and sometimes we splurge about 3 times a week with either pancakes or French toast, or oatmeal as well. I've been baking our bacon in the oven instead of the air fryer, and actually it tastes a whole lot better than in the air fryer. The air fryer is very convenient, but you lose some taste with that convenience. Tea time with breakfast has been a great slowing down and enjoying the moment and really being in the moment with my daughter. I highly recommend just taking 1 or 2 days a week and slowing down and really spending that quality time. This is Kitty. Kitty is Ruby's cat. I'm not for animals indoors, but because I love Ruby so much, I have grown very attached to Kitty, and she is our loyal companion here in our home. She was a feral cat that came up pregnant and starving, and we got her veterinarian help, and we homed out the kittens and found them a home, and Kitty has found her a home. So we enjoy Kitty in the house. It took quite a bit to get used to though, but she has grown on me quite a lot. Now we're maintaining our wooden utensils. We should do this once a month, but we do this when we start seeing them drying out and getting discolored. So we use coconut oil and we rub it on and let them rest for 10 minutes and then rub off the excess. It keeps our wooden utensils from splitting and cracking. You can also do this with bamboo drawer liners. Anything wooden you can do this with, but we use refined coconut oil. We find that the organic unrefined coconut oil has a sweet smell to it and actually attracts fruit flies. We find that not using the coconut oil that's not real sweet smelling does the best. Ruby Ann is putting up our excess eggs. They're unwashed, and we'll put them in the refrigerator, and they will keep up to 8 months. And we will have that basket full. Today we're getting about 33 eggs a day is what we're getting here at our cottage. This is our cottage garden. We have 19 8x4 raised beds, and then there's 3 of them put together. So they're 24 foot by 4 foot, and we have 6 of those 24 by 4 foot beds. But the reason why we did 8 foot by 4 foot and put them together is so that they hold better because of the dirt and the shifting. If we just put 24 foot of board down and then 4 foot lengths on the ends, the boards wouldn't hold together. We're weeding our garden, and we're going to put in some cypress mulch. Don't put pine mulch or pine straw in your garden. The turpentine actually prohibits the seed germination. As affiliates, any link below that you click on and make a purchase, we do make a small commission at no cost to you. We only share products that we believe in and use here in our cottage. We're cleaning up the rows and getting all of the weeds out of the garden from over winter. Last year we had a drought. We had a horrible growing season, so I'm hopeful that this year it looks better. We've got a lot more blooms that we didn't have last year, so that nature is saying so far that we're going to have a really good season. This year we have some great cut flowers and some new vegetables. I can't wait to share those with y'all. My favorite is winter squashes and our cucumbers. We are going to put our ferns in the coconut liners. They didn't have the smaller liners, so what I'm going to do is fold it down and take floral wire and essentially sew it down like a seam, and then put the ferns in. My husband got these for Valentine's Day. Every Valentine's Day he waits to get me ferns because I find they last spring, summer, and fall, so I get to enjoy them a lot longer than a vase of flowers for a week or two. So that is what I love having. And strawberries. So the strawberries aren't available yet to buy, but when they are, we'll put some hanging baskets of strawberries as well as the ferns. So we're going to get the front porch spring ready, and we've got to clean that as well. The pollen is wild right now here on the Gulf Coast. It has covered everything. Actually, the pollen started at the end of January, so we have a very, very early spring this year, which I'm loving it. I love springtime. Summertime, it gets very, very hot here, so that I don't really enjoy as much, but I do enjoy the longer daylight hours, so that gives us time to do more things around the cottage, which we have a huge list of things to do this year. One is to turn our shed into a tiny home. We're going to be adding on to the shed to turn it into a tiny home for my mom. So that you'll get to see. We haven't even started yet. We're going to be starting soon. Thank you for watching with us today here at the Modern Day Cottage, and as always, we will bring you homemade recipes, cottage living, and a cozy home. We'll see you in the next video.